start from the beginning then. You'd originally been friends back in the 80s, and Sacha, then you decided you'd lost touch with each other, and then 20 years later you decided to look up Anvil and find out what was going on. What made you think of that, and how did you guys react when he got back in touch with you?
Oh, the first part. Well,
yeah.
I had no idea. I don't know why I got back in touch with them.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we're all wondering why. He still hasn't really told us.
Well, I mean, honestly, look, I just finished working on a Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg film, and I was being offered all these sort of big films to go and work on. And I actually had another film I was going to go work on. And for some reason, I mean, you know, there I was, I'd come to Hollywood, I didn't know a single person, and here I was, you know, having just worked with the biggest director there is, you know, I'm walking onto the set, you know, the set.
That was terminal.
Yeah, the set was like $16 million for the set.
Oh, because they built it, hadn't they?
They built this airport, and I'm standing there looking around going, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I sort of, in one sense, I felt like, okay, I've achieved my objective. You know, years ago I'm looking at, you know, Spielberg movies, and now I'm working with him. So it was a big turning point moment for me, and I just felt like I'd always wanted to become a director. So I think in the back of my mind, I was looking, without necessarily realizing it, I was sort of looking for something to do. And anyway, this was all going on at the same time as being at a point in my life where you naturally, you know, look back at when you were younger and you think about, you know, the girl you went out with when you were 17, and what if you found her now, what would that be like? And God, what wasn't life incredible back then? You know, and, you know, my favourite band was Anvil, and then it suddenly was like, what the fuck happened to Anvil? And I just went online and I started looking around, and I came across the world's worst website, which you can still see today at anvilmetal.tk,
yeah,
which looks like it was literally like someone in a prison in Kentucky put together.
That website was put together in '96.
Yeah, and boy, do you feel it. And
Boy, does it look like it.
boy, does it look like. It's more like 1896. Yeah. It was pre-internet.
Well, the picture's quite up to date.
Yeah, the pictures are up to date.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went on this.
Is there, so.
Yes. Yeah.
I went on the website. I found that the band had never stopped, and I wrote to the website, and you know, and then you guys heard from me. You heard from me.
And how did you feel when you got back in touch? Was it sort of old memories?
It was amazing. Lips phoned me and goes, "Guess who called me?" And I couldn't guess. And he said it's Teabag, because that was his.
Teabag, yeah.
That's
his Anvil nickname.
Yeah. And I was totally, I flipped right out. I was so happy to hear the fact that, what? He's resurfaced? What do you mean? Yeah, it was very exciting. I was happy to hear that Sacha was back.
And so where did the idea of the documentary come from? Did you meet up and think, this is a good, you know...
Well, we met up, but we just met up just to hang out, you know. So Lips flew out to LA a couple of weeks after the first conversation. All the years melted away. It was like bang. It was like just amazing. And then that weekend, I took him to my friend Steve Zalian, the guy who'd introduced me to Spielberg, who had won the Academy Award for Schindler's List, and he wrote American Gangster and Gangs of New York. You know, one of probably the best guys out there in Hollywood doing what I do. And I remember taking Lips to Steve's house, standing there with Steve at the kitchen counter, going, you know, it's amazing, man. The band never gave up. Like, and they still are. They're still going for it in the same way. I found it so inspiring and infectious, and it was just so good. I was so energized by seeing him again. I was like, it was just like it brought me back to a place where there was limitless possibility in the world and total optimism, and it just ignited this thing in me. And I just suddenly out of that moment came, you know, I think there's a film. I think there's a film about not giving up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what comes across in the film, yes.
And so Steve said to me, you know, you should make the film. And I said, well, yeah. And that was in August of 05 or July or something.
Right.
And we were shooting by November of 05. So it all happened very quickly. And I knew that there was this window, that they had a tour coming up. And I knew that we had to go for it. And that if we didn't move really quickly, the moment would be lost forever. And it's one of those rare times in life where you recognize a situation for what it is, you're able to act on it, and you capture it. And had I not marshaled the forces at that very moment, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Because if I just go, oh well, this is a great idea, and I'll do it in 6 months, or you know what I mean. What I did was I completely changed the course of everything in order to do it.
What we did is we aligned ourselves.
Right.
Both the band and we said we're going to go do a movie, but just so happens that just before Sacha got in touch with me, we met an agent.
Yes.
That could get us the gigs. should we take the gigs? Hey, we got a movie going.
Yeah.
We're taking the
Yeah.
gigs.
That's a story.
You know what I
there.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been like that. Let's just make it happen. Keep throwing the logs in,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's do whatever it is. Let's stand up and make this happen. We're gonna go record an album. Well, not only are we gonna record an album, let's do it with our original producer. Let's
Yes.
go the next
Yeah.
to 9 yards. Let's make it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it
really like what the movie depicts is guys really standing up and
Mm.
trying to make it. I mean, here we are in our 50s and we're going for it.
Yeah,
This is the
not giving
final.
up.
This is the final lapse.
And that's exactly what it was like. We all recognised that there was this moment, and the fact that a film was being made about them, sort of in a way heightened the stakes for the band, because they were like, well, now we're doing this movie, we better fucking get going. Everyone was feeding off that energy in a way that I think the movie elevated things for them because they recognised where they were and what this was, and that this was both a unique time and a unique opportunity. And what's been great is filming showing the film over the past year, starting at Sundance. It's been like, you're pushing, you're just like getting it out there, you know what I mean? And suddenly I've got the sense in the last few days that rather than us pushing it, it's beginning to pull us now. Like there's a whole different, like, you light enough fires, suddenly it's beginning to take, and we're now getting carried along by it.
Yeah.
So
I found so many people have heard of the documentary already. That there's the petition for Glastonbury for you guys to play, and there seems to be a real groundswell behind it already.
There is, yeah.
We are playing Download.
Oh, you are?
They got confirmed to play Download.
Oh, that's good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you'd played back in the 80s, haven't you?
82.
82.
Yeah.
27 years
fantastic.
ago.
So 27 years later they come back. I mean,
that's such a huge festival as well now.
it's such a hero story. Like, what a great story. Like, how many bands ever get a chance 27 years later, not just to relive their glory days, but to redefine them to a completely new level? They're going to be, Anvil is going to be, they already are bigger than they were, but they're going to be bigger, I think, than they ever could have imagined.
No, it's brilliant.
That's what's going on.
What I wanted to ask about
That's exactly what's going on.
when you were
Let's make it happen.
on the road doing the documentary, how hard was it to have a film crew with you? But also, how hard was it to keep shooting? Because some of the situations are so hard, and they have so many awful things happen to you. Particularly, I found when you're waiting at the train station, you all seem so dispirited. I mean, was it hard to have a crew film you, and was it hard to keep filming?
No, it was. Life went on. They were there, but to us, it was like nobody was there.
Right.
We just carried on normally, or we were, and they just captured everything.
Right.
And the whole idea was the trick is to make the camera ingrained into the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So at certain times, I sent this amazing cameraman called Andrew Mueller, and it's just one guy with one camera, sort of just there. So it wasn't like this big cumbersome unit. It was a guy with a camera, and he was like taking home movies. And at a certain point, it just fit in to you know what I mean? It wasn't like, take 6. Can we check for sound? It was just like one guy in the corner, embedded with the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in Iraq, in an Iraq war unit.
Yeah.
With his camera in the tour bus. I mean, that's what it was like.
Okay.
The whole movie was like, it was just one take.
Yes, sure.
The whole thing.
Was there anything that you shot that didn't make it into the final cut?
About 318 hours.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, everything made it in. No, I mean, there was so much stuff. I mean, we have
special features on DVD is going
It's
to
going to be extensive.
the special features are its own movie, essentially. But yeah, I mean, there was so much stuff. I mean, we had to really make, in order to make a compelling singular narrative, you had to kill a lot of different things. We could have made 6 different films. We could have made a movie about the tour. We could have made a movie just about the album. Those 2 things could have been 2-hour epics on their own. But, to do an overall film, starting at the beginning and ending where it does in Japan, many sacrifices had to be made in the editing room. I mean, it was a year of editing with 2 incredible editors. I mean, to get that film, which feels effortless and easy and so natural, it was a lot of elbow grease.
A lot of work went into it.
A lot of work. But it's so worth it because that film's there now forever.
Yeah.
It will always be there, and I think it will be, watched for beyond this year at least. You know what I mean? It'll be there.
No,
It's
absolutely.
going to be watched for decades, man.
Yeah.
Decades, brother.